and it's another episode of the Peak Signing Agents podcast with me, your host, DVO, Derek Van Otten. Thank you again for tuning in, and welcome to part 2 of 3 series of my pros and cons. So last episode I did the pros and cons of working only with signing services. I hope that helped you. Now let's talk about part 2, which is going direct, working with direct clients. Let's talk about that. So what is going direct? Going direct means you are actually marketing yourself to escrow, title officers, mortgage officers, real estate agents. You're marketing direct. Okay? If you want to know how to market direct, I did a training about it in the loan signing system. Again, I'll put that link in the description here. But let's talk about the pros and cons. Do you want to market direct? Is that something you want to do? What's the benefits? What's the negatives? That's what we're going to talk about in this episode. I hope it makes sense. So I got my notes here. I'm going to glance, at my notes, make sure I got everything covered. Again, I'm sure there's a lot of pros and cons. I'm just highlighting the big ones, the major ones, okay? So I like to start with the cons because I like to end with the pros, the positive. I like to end with the positivity. So what are the cons of marketing direct? The number one con, the number one negative aspect, I think for most people would agree, is you actually have to go market. You have to get out of your comfort zone, walk into offices and say, I am a mobile notary. I am a loan signing agent. You cannot be a secret agent if you want to market direct. You have to let people know what you do. That means getting uncomfortable and going out there and telling people what you do. And following up with them. So it's one thing to actually get the courage and guts to finally say, all right, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to market myself. Then the next thing is I have to follow up with them as well. And I also did a training on that in the Complete Notary Mentorship. So I don't know if there's a link to that. Yeah, I'll see if there's a link to that. And if there is, I'll put that in the description as well. So I have a training with the loan signing system on how to market direct. And then I have a training in the Complete Notary Mentorship on how to follow up. Those are both our sponsors, so please support our sponsors. I put those links also in there. Clicking those links supports the podcast as well. So thank you. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe, follow on YouTube podcast platforms, because I'm going to bring straight fire every episode. That is my goal for you to become peak signing agents yourselves, because I know you're awesome. All right. So the con is getting over the fear. That's the number one that we talked about. Getting over the fear of saying, I need to market myself. I need to tell people what I do. So getting out of your comfort zone, walking into offices is probably the biggest con. Because I think the number one fear for most people is public speaking. And in a way, you are public speaking because you don't know who's coming in to listen to you. You're basically doing a sales pitch. Understand that. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people think it's salesy is scummy or selling snake oil or being a charlatan. No, there's nothing wrong with having a good sales pitch, a good elevator pitch. That's actually part of being a business owner, by the way. Same with marketing. Marketing is also part of running a business. So understand that. So that's the number one thing, getting over your fear. Getting over your fear and talking, because it's scary. I get it. Even today, I've marketed to lots of companies. Okay, I've marketed myself to a lot of companies, and even still sometimes I get a little nervous because maybe I've been following this title company on social media for a while, and I've been liking their things and following the escrow officers individually as well. And now they've seen I've liked their stuff, and now I'm going to be walking into their office, and I have to talk, and I have to stand out. You only give one first impression, so that's the number one fear, is actually getting out of your comfort zone. And even today, I'll tell you guys, to be honest with you, I still sometimes park at their building and I sit in the car for a minute and just kind of take some breaths and talk to myself. Hey, DVO, you got this. You're a great signing agent. You're the perfect signing agent for them. They want you. They need you. They're going to be better off having you in their corner as their preferred notary or signing service. So I have to hype myself up. Be your own hype man. Hype yourself up and go in there and go market, all right? So that's the number one con. Now you have your directs. What are the cons of having directs? In my opinion, it's being a direct to my clients. The number one, because I love them all. I hate to say that the number one negative thing about it all, because I don't think that at all. I love them. I just think maybe a con. One of the cons is it's hard to say no. It's hard to say no to them because maybe you're not their only notary. Maybe they have a few, and maybe you're not their number one yet, or maybe you are their number one, and you don't want to fall to number 2 or number 3. It's hard to say no. You might think you're done for the day. It's Friday. It's 5 o'clock. You've been going since 8 a.m. and you're getting a little tired. You can't wait to go home. And then right before the close, they say, I'm so sorry. We got a last minute. Come in. They want to close before the weekend. Can you help us out? It's hard to say no. Maybe it's an hour away drive as well. So you're like, I gotta go home, I gotta print, and I gotta drive an hour, do the signing, drive back an hour. I gotta go drop it off the next day or on Monday. It's hard to say no. You can though. I want you to know though. Feel comfortable to say no. If you're tired, say, you know what? I just wrapped up a long, busy day. I can't get to it right now. Just know that's okay as well. But I understand it's hard to say no. Because you want to be their number one, or you want to keep that number one spot. So it's hard to say no. And that's kind of how I feel sometimes. I feel like sometimes it's hard to say no. In fact, I had a last minute one come up yesterday. I had an appointment and I had a couple hours until the next one. And one of my clients called me and said, hey, we're so sorry. They apologize. We're so sorry. We understand this is a pain. It also came to us last minute. Can you help us out? And it's an hour drive. So I'm trying to do the math in my head. Okay, I have this signing, and then I got to print. Luckily for me, I record in the mobile office, and I drive this, and I can print on the go. So that does help me. I can just say, yeah, if I'm parked at my signing, I was parked near their house, and I have Wi-Fi in here, and I still got Wi-Fi from my phone. So when the documents come in, I hit print while in the middle of my signing, and when I left the signing, the documents are ready for me to go, and I can start getting on the road. But yeah, it's hard to say yes sometimes. But I said, yeah, I've got a couple hours, and I can make this work for you. But when I came in, what do they call me? The hero of the day. That was my title for my client. My client's title for me was hero of the day. Look who's here, the hero of the day. You know how awesome that made me feel? Because I am in the service industry. I am a mobile notary. I am a signing service. I provide service. And for them to say I'm their hero for the day, that made up for the stress I was feeling to say, okay, I got to sign, I got to print, I got to drive, I got to come back, drop it off, go to the next one. There's a little bit of stress that gets added on sometimes. And it was worth it when I walked in and said, it's the hero of the day. Hey, that happens, all right? You want to be the hero for your clients. Be that hero for them. And they will remember that. But in the meantime, there's days where it does feel hard to say no. You always want to say yes. You want to make them happy. But also know it's okay to say no. All right? And just know there's an abundance. Don't have that scarcity mindset of like, I don't want to lose my number one spot. Hey, if you say no sometimes, If you're always saying yes, and then once in a while you have to say no, they understand you're not going to lose your number one spot, okay? They understand. They also can't get to them all. That's why they called you. They are the escrow title officers. They want to be the ones that service all their clients. They want to do it all, but they know they can't. That's why they contact you, the peak signing agent. So they understand they also have to say no. I have to hire someone else. Sorry, real estate agent. Sorry, loan officer. I can't do that. I am already booked. I can't do your last minute. But I have a notary that I prefer that I'm going to contact. So they also can't say yes to everything. You also can't say yes to everything. So understand it's okay to say no. The other con that I feel when I'm working direct is I do feel a lot of times I'm running around running documents. So I might have a signing in a one county, and I have a couple hours, and I have a signing in that same county. But because I have a couple hours, I'm gonna have to run to another county to drop off documents. Just because I'm trying to save them costs. I'm not trying to have them ship out FedEx or UPS every time. And they get kind of accustomed to that where I'm dropping off documents. So, if you work direct, a lot of times you're dropping off the documents back at the title company. And so you're running around documents sometimes. And you're running to other counties. And it doesn't really fit your schedule. Especially when there's a last minute that comes in. Last minutes really throw a wrench in things a lot of times. But hey, that's the nature of the game. And I said yes to it. So I know I have to take that responsibility. But yeah, you feel like you're running around sometimes. All right, I'm in this county. I did a signing. I have to run back to the title company's county, drop it off, and go back to that original county again where I have another signing coming up. Hey, it happens. So one of the cons is sometimes you feel like you're running around documents. Again, this signing that I did last minute, it's a Friday, or I'm doing a signing on a Saturday. That means Monday morning I have to drop off documents, especially if it's a purchase or sale. But let me give you tips on how I handle that. Just another example. It's a Friday or Saturday. You're doing a signing. That means you have to drop it off Monday morning because it's a purchase or sale. They need it. They need to fund it. They need the documents in hand to do that. But maybe you have an appointment Monday morning at the same time they open. Maybe you have a couple. You're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a while before I get there. So, this is what I do. Mrs. Escrow Officer, I'm going to do the signing for you. I just want you to know that Monday morning I have a signing. I have another closing at this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you copies. I'm going to send you high quality copies. That way they can work with that. I don't know about everyone, okay? I shouldn't say that. For my clients, I know that they can work with high quality scans if they know I've got documents I'm going to bring them in later. So my clients can do that. I don't know about everyone's clients, but if you're not sure, ask your client. But a lot of times what I do is when I have a signing that took place, on a Friday or Saturday or in the evening, and I got to go drop it off the next day for it to fund, but I have appointments the next morning, I just say, hey, I want you to know I have closings at this time the next morning. Is it okay if I send you high quality scans and then I'll bring them in as soon as I'm done? All my clients are fine with that. So again, check with your clients. But maybe that's something you haven't even brought up yet. So you don't feel that stress. Like, hey, I'm going to send you high quality scans. That way you can work with those. When I say high quality scans, what I've done in the past is I sent them like low quality because it scans faster. It can fit in the email, no problem. But they get it and they're like, I can't really work. It's a little not the best quality. I can't really work with this. So I've learned I have to send them high quality scans. Even if it means I have to send them 2 emails because maybe it's a bigger package. So I got to split it in 2 emails. But they can work with those scans because they know I've got the originals and I'm bringing them in today. I'm bringing them in as soon as I can. But they can at least work with the scans. So that's a little tip for you if you're going direct and you feel like you got to run around but you can't get to it right away because you got another one. Hey, can I just send you scans? I got another closing in this area and then I'll bring them right after. So that works a lot of times. But that is one of the cons. You do feel like you're running documents around. Sorry, so let's talk about some of the pros. What are the pros of going direct? Well, my favorite pro, my favorite positivity of going direct is you now get the whole fee. Because when you are working with signing services, you're getting roughly 50 to 75% of the fee. And that's okay, because you didn't do any work to get that client. But now that you are getting that client, you get the whole fee now. That whole fee is yours. So you are getting paid more for the work you're doing. This is the reason why I went direct. Okay? I told you last episode, I was making 6 figures working with signing services. However, there were some days that were very long to do that. There were days where I was making $800 a day. But I was kind of thinking in my head, but if those were all directs, I would have made $1,000 that day. So what would I rather have, $1,000 or $800? And that's on you, right? For me, I would rather have $1,000. I understand, but there's a lot of work that goes involved to get that. If you're happy with the $800 day, but you did zero marketing, you just got the job, did the deed, dropped it off at FedEx, because you can just do a whole bunch with signing services, and then go to a FedEx and then drop off like 5 or 6 packages at one time, as long as it's before the cutoff time. You can drop a whole bunch off, but if you're doing 5 or 6 direct, you're running and dropping them all off at different title companies, possibly. Okay, so the pros is that you get the whole fee, though. So you're doing more money for less work. So when I was working with signing services, I thought, hey, I'm making good money, but I could have made more money for the same effort. Does that make sense? So for the same effort of work I was doing, running around, printing, getting things signed, I could have got paid more money. And that's when it kind of clicked in my head, oh, okay, let me go direct then. I want the whole fee. I want to set my fee and get the whole fee. And to be honest with you, today, 95% of the jobs that I personally do are direct. I still take signing services once in a while because they pay me really good. Because I'm their preferred notary. I go direct with a signing service. But anyway, you get paid more money for doing less work, possibly. Does that make sense? And that's what clicked in my head. I was like, that's what I want. I want the whole fee. I want to make more money today because of all my efforts. But I knew at that point I had to go market myself, though, which I wasn't doing in the past. I just was accepting signings, doing it, dropping them off. Now I have to go out and get out of my comfort zone and go market, do a sales pitch, and then get those clients and do follow-up. So, that was great. But that's why I did the loan signing system. That's why I chose that course. I just knew I needed to get to another level in my business, and I needed a mentor to get there. And that's why I picked Mark Wills, and he mentored me. That's why I took the whole loan signing system course. So, no, there's a lot of courses in the loan signing system and in Complete Notary Mentorship that will teach you how to market. If you choose to do that, click on my link. Here's another good pro to working direct. Most often, you're going to get paid faster. So a lot of signing services are like net 30, net 45, net 60 days. Why that is? A lot of different reasons. I don't know why they would go 60 days, to be honest. I think that's too much. But like my signing service is net 30. Sometimes I pay notaries 2 weeks later. Sometimes I pay them 4 weeks, 30 days later. The reason being is because I don't always get paid faster, right? But there's a lot of times, a lot of my clients, I should say this, a lot of my clients, as soon as it funds, they'll cut the check to me. So if I'm doing a purchase, it's a same day purchase, same day funding, the example I did yesterday where I had to squeeze in an hour drive each way. That's a 2-hour drive plus a 20-30 minute signing and drop off. So, I had to squeeze in a 2.5 hour window to get this all taken care of because it was funding that day. Again, so another reason you feel kind of rushed sometimes. But I did it, and it funded that day. So it was actually a Friday. That means Monday they're going to cut me a check. That's how that title company works. But there's some that don't work that way. There's some, I give them the invoice, they send it to their accounts payable department, their accounting department, and they receive all the invoices, not only from me, but from their utility bills, from their paper company, from their shredding company, from their office supply company, right? They're getting invoices all the time. I'm just one of the invoices that they'll get to. And it takes a couple weeks sometimes before they cut me a check. Still, it's probably faster, though, than working with a signing service. So most of the time, in fact, every time, I'm getting paid faster with direct than I do get paid with a signing service. So that's one of the pros, right? You do get paid faster. You're not waiting for that signing service to pay you. The title company is probably going to cut you a check pretty soon and mail it off to you. So that's one of the pros, getting paid faster. Another one that I really like is building the relationships with my clients. I feel like I have a good relationship with them when I come in. Whether I'm doing a closing in their office or I'm dropping off documents, I can just say, hey, how's it going? And we can talk for a little bit. And you build that relationship. And from those relationships, you build a client base and referrals. So that title company might have other title companies in other locations, and they're going to refer you to them. They're gonna, they're gonna have their meetings. They're gonna talk about maybe a notary issue. And like, oh my gosh, you should hire my notary. Man, Derek is awesome. You guys should be. Why are you guys not using Derek? And maybe because it's in a county far away. You maybe didn't know they had another location. But here's a tip for you: your clients, see if they have other locations, and then ask your clients. Say, hey, do you know anyone from that other office that I can maybe just kind of introduce myself to? Do you have, right? And you're going to get referrals. You're going to build relationships. You can get referrals. That's what's nice. So I hope you got that little nugget right there. Your clients will share your information with the other escrow officers, and they have friends that don't work in the same office as them, by the way. I have clients who shared my information with another escrow officer that they worked with in the past, or they were friends with, they met at a convention, they became friends with, and they just passed my information around. They don't even work at the same company, not the same office or the same company. They're in two different companies, but they're like, hey, we use DVO. He's awesome. You guys should call him up. Hey DVO. And some of my clients, some of my close ones, they call me DVO. Hey, I just talked to my friend, told him about you. You should go pop in and say hi to him, right? So you're building relationships and you're getting those clients. That's what's nice too. You're getting those referrals, and that's what's really nice. So build a strong relationship with your client. Another reason why you want to build a strong relationship, they will always want to use you because they almost will want to feel guilty if they try to use another notary. They're like, oh no, I've had notaries in my local area say, hey, I was actually at one of your title offices and I introduced myself and said, oh, do you know Derek? We use him. And he goes, yes, I do know Derek. So, you build those strong relationships, they're going to stay with you. Another pro that I like is sometimes you're doing closings in their office. And you might do back-to-back closings. Those are beauts. I love those. All right, you drive to one location, you go to your client's office, they're printing everything for you. You just sit there, you do a few back-to-back, and then you just leave them there at their office. And you just do back-to-back closings. Those are my favorite. In fact, I love them so much, I give discounts to my clients. I give them little discounts. I even put on my invoice discount or a credit back-to-back closings because I appreciate that. I have less places to drive. I have zero printing to do because I'm not driving to clients' houses. I'm not driving back to drop off documents. I'm just there. They print it for me, and I give a little discount for back-to-back closings. So that's one of the pros as well. You're going to have your clients that just say, hey, I'm out of town. I'm not feeling well. We have a few in the office. Can you just do those while I do other things? Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to do that for you. And I love those as well. So those are my pros and cons of going direct. Again, I'm not saying it's good or bad to go direct. I'm just saying here's the pros and cons that I've experienced. You make your own decision. Last week I talked about the pros and cons of working only with signing services. Weigh it out. Is it worth it to you to stick with them or to go direct? I don't know. I can't make a decision for you. It's up to you. That's why I want to give you the pros and cons for you to make an educated decision that's best for you, best for your business, best for your schedule. All right? Next week, next episode, I'm talking about the pros and cons of starting and running a signing service. Maybe you've thought about it. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you will one day. I don't know. But I want to give you my pros and cons of starting and running a signing service to help you make the decision. If you've been on the fence, whether you should or shouldn't, I want to help you make that decision. All right? All right. Keep doing awesome things. You're awesome. I believe in you. Keep crushing it. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.